And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, 4Z Episode 2 with one Mariah Barnett launched this week. I loved it. Everybody needs to check it out. And in that fold in Arizona, we have some news. The Arizona Teachers Academy funding has just been slashed. Tyler, as somebody that's looking to help support future educators in Arizona and find their spots in their education, how are you feeling today?
It's heartbreaking. So, for folks who are in Arizona and don't know about ATA, or especially our listeners and viewers who are out of state and haven't heard of this, the Arizona Teachers Academy started, I want to say maybe 2016, 2017. And it is a scholarship set up by the state where students can receive their tuition and fees fully covered if they agree to teach in a publicly funded school in Arizona after they graduate. And so every year, the legislature has to determine how much funding they're going to provide to this. And the scholarships are available at our three public universities: Arizona State University, the University of Arizona, and Northern Arizona University. So every year it's a battle to figure out how much funding they're going to give. And as you laid out, my friend, they cut it in half from 30 million to 15 million heading into the 24-25 academic year. And that 15 million is to be split amongst the three universities. So for continuing students, luckily, they expect to have ATA funds. But for new folks who are trying to go back to school or start school to become educators in Arizona, that funding is likely not going to be there this year. It's heartbreaking, Brad, and it's a reminder of why we find ourselves in the position we are, particularly here in the state that I love, this battle of finding teachers, of sustaining teachers. This is why we're in this battle, because the funds aren't always guaranteed. And I understand the processes are complex, but to me, if we're slashing funding from education, healthcare, the arts, which ostensibly is a part of education, but it seems like the funding cuts always have to come from these bedrocks of a healthy democratic society. So it's heartbreaking personally, and then certainly professionally. It's a big L on so many levels.
Yeah. The only reason that I'm in school currently is because of the ATA, because it opens doors for me potentially in the future for teaching or for a job after teaching, or a job while teaching outside of the classroom. We'll see what happens there, but it's heartbreaking to see it, because I was, while you were talking, I remember to reach out to a student, asking for her contact info right now, see how she's doing, because she's planning on heading up to NAU this fall and was fully depending on the ATA to help pay for her education to become a teacher.
And NAU may have it too, by the way. That's also the tricky part, is ATA looks different. We're really going granular on this.
It's important. I think it's important.
It's important to who we are and certainly our jobs and academic pursuits. It's also very nuanced because this looks different. So for your student going to NAU, shout out to her. Wish she would have came to ASU, but that's okay. Her going to NAU, they may have funding for her. So because they have less students than, say, ASU, it's possible that they'll be able to support her, which I certainly hope is the case. I just know the context of being in Phoenix, funding first-year students is going to be challenging. But for her, for NAU, I would hope that based on their numbers and based on how many students they serve, especially if they told her that they were going to be able to provide it, I would hope that they're going to honor their word and make it work. Because she wants to be a teacher, and
yep.
You know,
I think she might have everything already taken care of for some background life stuff that has happened. I'm pretty sure they're just going to fire money at her, but I don't, you know how it goes. A full ride is never a full ride. It just means tuition is going to be covered and not room and board. And I'm hoping that some of this other stuff will go toward that.
meals.
And
You got to
yeah, it's complicated. And there's a lot of people that I know that are in grad school taking ATA funding. So it just sucks for people that are like, hey, I didn't have a great academic career. COVID interfered with my education. So I had hit my GPA when I was stuck at home, depressed, and all of those things that we're just now starting to contend with the adults coming out of COVID, and watching them go to higher ed and thinking they're going to get support that's then taken away. It's just, I wonder why, I wonder where the priorities are. And I wonder if had the legislature allowed the Coyotes to purchase state land and put that funding into ATA, if we would be here right now. But that's not going to happen. That owner is terrible. We are so happy to be here on the eve of Forbidden Door, Tyler, but we do need to get into some WWE talk before we get into AEW's one of our favorite events overall of the year.
Yeah, that we do. I believe you still have the first Forbidden Door poster, the inaugural one.
I do, in my classroom, up on the wall.
I love that.
Yes, sir.
That for you. So grateful for you and all the teachers out there. Yeah, man, we got to get into WWE. So there was so much good that happened. It's a big week it was a big week, and it's an even bigger week for WWE. Of course, this weekend we have Money in the Bank happening on Saturday, and then NXT Heatwave on Sunday, both emanating from Canada. But I want to ask you about the new bloodline taking out Paul Heyman. This was an MSG in New York. Fans continue to clamor for Roman Reigns. But my question for you, Brad, from an acting and overall theatrical POV, how amazing is the continuing saga of the bloodline?
It's incredible. It's going to be strange to see what happens here going forward without Paul Heyman in the mix directly, because I haven't loved this new bloodline faction. It just feels kind of vanilla to me. But with Fatu in there now, with the Samoan werewolf, who has an incredible entrance, my favorite in the bloodline. This bloodline. Shout out to Jey Uso. It's a lot of fun because they're building. It's amazing what a job they've done building Roman Reigns without him being there. Right? Like, this is all clearly geared toward a Roman return, and Roman's going to kill somebody. Like, they took out the wise man. I wonder how much. I would have thought Roman makes a return at Money in the Bank. And I still have like maybe an inkling that he'll show up at the Money in the Bank match, but it's a little closer now, and I think this might have changed things if that was the plan with Sika passing Roman's father. Huge blow to the wrestling world, and specifically to that family. Condolences to them, and shout out to Sika Anawai. That whole family is just incredible. Look at the bloodline, right? Like, just look at all of them, what they've done to the business, for the business, in the business. It's all incredible to watch. But Paul Heyman, method acting, and it's not the first time he did it. And I saw that he did an interview where he was watching something. I think it was with Dustin Hoffman, did a thing where he wanted to look all coked out and red-eyed and bleary, so he just stayed up forever. Paul Heyman did that when it was the end of the Brock era, I think, or the end of the Punk era. I can't remember which one, but he just stayed up for like a week and came out with the red eyes and the no shave. And I'm pretty sure he did it again for this, so that when he was out there, he looked the role. It was authentic.
I was going to ask you, in case you're not familiar, tell us more about method acting. I Googled this the other day, but then I think I got distracted and didn't come to a conclusion.
It's pretty straightforward. Method actors never break character. They lock into character. Okay, cut, still in character. They're always in character no matter what.
Very pro wrestling. Perfect.
Very pro wrestling. They maintain kayfabe through the entire shoot.
Kayfabe.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Google did not give me that, but
yeah.
My dear co-host Brad Winchester did.
In wrestling terms, that's what it is. Is method acting is never breaking kayfabe. It's riding the heel bus, and it's all of those things. But Jim Carrey infamously on set was in the Andy Kaufman character, was throwing through a I can't remember, like a beer bottle or something at Jerry Lawler when he came on set, and was like attacking him and calling him all these names. And Jerry was like, "Me and Andy were friends. What are you doing?" That was all for show. And Jim Carrey method acted through that part. He just stayed in that character the entire time, where in real life, Andy Kaufman was method acting in real life, and then did it so well that Jim Carrey was method acting on the set as angry Andy Kaufman when they were doing a bit on Letterman, that famous slap on Letterman when Kaufman's wearing the neck brace and Lawler just slaps the piss out of him on national TV. Letterman and Lawler and Kaufman were the only ones that knew what was happening for that. And on set, Jim Carrey method acted. Daniel Day-Lewis is famous for being a method actor. I believe Dustin Hoffman as well.
Lewis is Lincoln Jones, right? He played
yes.
That's right. Okay. I saw
yes. And who was the other one that was pretty famous for? Oh, Brad Dourif. You probably don't know him. I know you haven't seen Lord of the Rings. Get on that. He plays Grima Wormtongue in Two Towers and Return of the King, a pivotal character. He's also the voice of Chucky from the Child's Play movies.
I have seen that.
Yeah. So, of course. But
I've seen Chucky, but no.
But Brad Dourif, he spoke with an English accent the entire time. And at the end of the shoot, he just started speaking his American accent because that's what he has. And everybody was floored. They just were convinced that he was from the UK.
There are so many actors like that.
Yeah. So that's all method acting is. But
Wow,
Paul Heyman going full method for this, taking the huge bumps. It looked really gnarly and it was awesome. Super awesome, man. Like I can't stress enough how much I loved it. The return pop for Roman is going to be out of this world.
You've been saying it. We have footage.
I don't know what happens with Roman's. Here's what I thought the timeline would be. Roman returns, Money in the Bank, right? Huge explosion. We get Roman for a while. Maybe he recruits Jay and Jimmy back and we reunite the Usos. They still do single stuff, but they're a tag team now, again, with tentatively with Roman. And then at SummerSlam, they need another partner and The Rock shows up, right? Like that would be the one for that part of the year.
Dang.
And then you have like this.
The new bloodline is not winning that match.
No, it's
much respect and reverence to the Samoan Werewolf. But Roman and Rock on the same side?
I want to see Roman and Fatu in the ring together.
That's going to be fun.
It's going to be a blast, man. I just love it so much. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I love it. Obviously, we spoke about this weeks and weeks ago. I think both of us were a bit lukewarm on where the storyline is, but I think it was a mixture of a few things. Obviously, to your point, Jacob Fatu coming in, a red hot MSG crowd, and then this development of seeing Paul Heyman take bumps. I remember the last time I've seen Paul Heyman take this many bumps. It was a pivotal next phase in this storyline. And to your point, Brad, it gets us closer, hopefully, to Roman's return. And this has been played out so perfectly because the fans are already clamoring for Roman. They have been. They certainly were at Madison Square Garden, even though one could argue he was a pretty despicable heel for years and years. He's so good. Of course, we're going to miss him. And he's clearly going to, in my mind, Roman's clearly going to play into everything he's done has been for his family. So not only did he carry the company on his back for 4 years, but also everything he's done along the way has been to uplift his family. Was he a tyrant? Was he diabolical along the way to get there? For sure. But if you look at where Jey Uso is now, he's his own man. Jimmy has even been obviously in a great spot, main evented WrestleMania, right? The Usos beat KO and Sammy. This has been played perfectly. Shout out to Paul for the method acting. And yeah, like you said, hopefully if things are okay with his family and Roman is well enough to return, I think Money in the Bank may be too soon, but
I think it's still too soon.
SummerSlam, whether it's an appearance or a match, to me, that has to be the time when we get Roman back.
It's got to be a big moment. It can't be
close the
Raw.
show.
It can't be SmackDown.
You said it's going to be CM Punk Survivor Series-esque.
Yes, I fully believe that. I'm committed to that. I think
it's money.
I think Roman coming out and going like, I was right. Look what happened without me. And
as we all clap for him and yeah, Roman
reconciling with Jay
the hug is going to be,
that'll feed families. It's gonna feed and then families. Let's say it's the Usos and Roman and then you have Solo and Tama and Fatu, and who am I missing?
There's the fourth. I forget he's totally positioned as the fourth guy right now.
Yeah,
is it Tongaloa?
Tongaloa, yeah,
Tongaloa. What if we get Sami Zayn?
Tongaloa?
Well, that's Sami Zayn as the fourth member,
and then the fourth member on the other side has got to be Sami Zayn.
That we're speaking the same language now.
100%. That's why I wanted to get there.
I want Sami there.
Oh my God! If he comes out with the honorary Oos T-shirt, that place is going to erupt. Especially if
he's losing a Braun Breaker. He's losing a Braun Breaker.
100%. I'm 100%. 100%.
He's going to need something to do. This is perfect.
Yeah, in like a handicap match, it's 3-on-4. They're not doing well, and then Sammy's music.
Yeah, I mean we have the storyline for the rest of the year. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful situation.
It's going right now. It's not my favorite thing. Right now, I'm much more invested in what's going on with other characters, which we'll get to in a second. But my God, is this being set up as something special? And I think it'll be back to, if not surpassing, what the Bloodline was just a couple years ago when the Sammy storyline was in full swing. Right before the "you're out and I'm out too" was so good.
Insert super kick.
Oh my God, it's so good.
All
of that was so masterfully done.
It's been masterfully done. It's elevated the product. And speaking of elevation, Brad, I need to know if you and our listeners and viewers are ready to elevate your fantasy sports experience with Prize Picks. You can win up to 100 times your money during the women's basketball season. Imagine turning a $10 entry into a whopping $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every week. From lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to your lineup hit, or even getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. Prize Picks, is where you need to go. And you already know women's basketball, like we said, is on fire, with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside greats like Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash, washing them ball out. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, that's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Okay, Tyler, we have Heyman going through a table, right? Like we got being destroyed after taking a spike, like just bumping around like crazy. And that bump onto the table did not look comfortable.
No.
We had two things happen.
It certainly did not.
Two huge things that happened on Monday night that we have to talk about. The first one is condolences to Pat McAfee and his wife for the loss of their father-in-law, of Pat's father-in-law. That set up Michael Cole to have to do the show solo. Michael Cole soloed a Monday Night Raw and did incredibly well. Michael Cole has to be considered. I know he's up there with all-timers, and I know people probably put Gordon Solie up there ahead of everybody, just because he's the original, right? But Michael Cole soloing on Monday Night Raw is absolutely incredible. But we got to talk about Bo. We got to talk about Bo Dallas sitting down and doing an interview with Uncle Howdy. It was one of the most compelling videos I've ever seen, and it was an absolute emotional roller coaster for me. It was everything I wanted to. It feels Fiend-like, but not the Fiend. It feels different and fresh and Fiend adjacent to honor that character and that legacy of Bray Wyatt. Um, I think they need to continue doing some of the cinematic stuff, the shots in the back, the camera stuff that we've never seen before. Let this breathe forever. Don't do anything with it. Just have them haunt the place for a while. I don't care if they interfere with matches. I don't really need a match with whatever Nikki Cross's character is, or Eric Redbeard. I'm sure they want to get in there and mix it up. Put them on house shows and have them murder people. But I don't really want to see them in events yet, unless it's going to be a cinematic event or a specialty event. Like, I could see them, their first matches being at Extreme Rules. But my God, this interview, Tyler, I know you saw it. I know you caught it. What were your thoughts?
I did. I agree with you. I was so curious, I guess like all of us really, to see what they were going to do week 2. They make this awesome debut. They being the White Six, pronouns pal. Millions of views on YouTube. We're all talking about it. What's the follow-up? I was surprised. I thought it was going to be something involving the whole group, but the fact that they pivoted to just focus on the leader, to just focus on Bo and Uncle Howdy, and the way you put it was so perfect, Brad. It really was Fiend adjacent. I didn't think about that. I mean, I know they were in the Firefly Funhouse, but it really was Fiend-like. But this time we saw both characters, Bo and Uncle Howdy, speaking with each other, and it was perfect because obviously this is the whole Fiend Wyatt universe is very sci-fi like, which I really appreciate. But to have this grounded in a sense of realism, where we're actually hearing from Bo about how he feels regarding the loss of his brother. And of course, this is a character he's presenting, but to your point, Brad, it very much feels like genuine emotion. And those lines are blurred between what's a show versus what does this man actually feel. Taylor Rotunda, the man. It was great. It was artful, to your word. It was cinematic. I asked you about, given your theater background, which is why I'm so grateful we have this platform for topics like these two, like Heyman theatrical, but then Bo and Uncle Howdy theatrical from a performance element. Bravo. It was fantastic. What I loved most about this was that we left with understanding more about the mission statement behind this group. What we don't want is them to just have no direction, start out blazing hot, but then in a few months by Royal Rumble, they've cooled off, everyone beats them, so on and so forth. We played this game before. The fact that the mission statement is, I forget how we phrased it, but basically they forgot about us. We reminded them. The characters, the Wyatts and how great we are, we reminded them. And then Howdy diabolically is like, we did. And more to come, probably. I loved it. It was great. The performance, the mission statement, it was so well executed. And by the way, I don't know if you mentioned this, Nikki Cross, Sister Abigail, very creepily delivering the VHS tape to Michael Cole. The whole present. I'm so happy for her that she's back.
Is she Sister Abigail or something else?
Because I thought she was. Well, I thought she was Sister
Wyatt.
Abigail, but maybe I can be convinced.
What's the Wyatt Six, right?
It's the Wyatt Six.
How many were there?
There were 5.
Is Bray Wyatt the 6th?
I think so.
I think so too. But Alexa Bliss is coming back. And
she is coming back.
And they very purposefully, in the background of one of the shots, had the truck with Dark Alexa on the back.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that we can go. See, this is when the timeline is positive and not toxic. But we can go on the timeline. There are all these Easter eggs, and everyone's a sleuth.
So fun.
In a positive way.
It's so
not
fun.
sleuthing for toxic reasons, but for excitement about storylines. That's a great point. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the two, right? It's either Bray Wyatt and he's the 6th to honor his legacy, beautiful, or it's Alexa Bliss. And
beefing
what is it?
Beefing with them.
Maybe she's exactly. What does a returning Alexa look like in terms of storyline? She's been uber successful, big fan base. What is next for her when she's back? I would certainly hope it is with her being involved in the storyline, whether it's on the team or maybe a foe.
God, I can't wait to see what happens
It's
here,
brilliant.
though. We have Alexa Bliss coming back. Carmella's coming back at some point, I'm sure. Charlotte's coming back sooner than
Charlotte.
later, it looks like.
Yeah,
The
for
Queen,
sure.
because she was back for a short time and got hurt again. And I can't wait to see her back. She's an important piece at WWE, and Rhea will be back. And like that whole division is crazy. It's crazy, and it's not even all healthy.
It's stacked. And then if we look at NXT quickly, so obviously we have Money in the Bank. I predict. Need to get your thoughts. I predict Tiffany Stratton wins the women's briefcase.
I agree.
To me, that's a layup.
Yep.
The men's, I would love to go LA Knight here. And maybe they're swerving us because it seems like his path is toward the US title.
Yeah.
I don't know that he wins in Cleveland at SummerSlam. Logan Paul's home state, maybe in Ohio. I'm not sure how Logan Paul is received there. But I think you can make a case that Carmelo Hayes could be a really intriguing pick. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know if he's developed enough cachet yet, but a Melo in the bank. He already has the dollar sign in his logo. Like, to me, not only would you print shirts and print money, therefore, but I think that would be a big look for Carmelo, and that would show a real investment in the next tier, the next generation of WWE talent. You already know Tiffany Stratton is already there. I think it's a given. She wins this weekend. For the men, if not LA Knight, because I don't think it's going to be him. I don't think it's going to be Drew McIntyre. I think Carmelo is that dude.
Dragunov, man.
Dragunov. That's
because if he wins that
over Melo, okay.
I would rather it be that way. Here's why.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Here's why. Melo cashing in. He's not winning.
I see him becoming US champ first, or
yes.
IC champ.
100%.
Right.
I don't think he's
for him to.
I don't think he's anywhere close to the main title picture yet.
Yeah,
they haven't done enough. They haven't done enough with him. Yeah. Dragunov, though, yes. And here's why. I can see Gunther taking the title before then.
Yes.
And then
about the matchup. That's good.
Oh my
That's
God.
good.
We get Dragunov Gunther 3.
Yeah,
hamburger
WrestleMania
hamburger meat.
That's WrestleMania worthy. Yeah, versus Melo, like, I don't know that there's a clear who he would face to, where it would really mean a lot for him to cash in on that person or set up the match.
I think it ended up being
Great
like
idea.
Austin Theory's Money in the Bank run. I just don't think it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's rough, but you're not wrong.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. That does.
We're gonna get. I feel like Ricochet's gone, right?
I would like to see him pop up in AEW.
Of course. But I kind of, my fear is that Melo's going to go the way of Ricochet.
He's the new
for
Ricochet.
a while. Yeah, they're gonna have him do all the cool spots, get in those moments. I also think he's had some disastrous chemistry with a few of the guys on the roster, and then some epic chemistry with people on the roster. And I think in a year, he'll be in that conversation as the best guy. Or top 2 or 3 in the WWE. Right now, he's still building that, and we don't know what they're going to do. Like these Uncle Howdy interviews, is this the first one of many? Because I would love to see why is the only one that makes sense there is Dexter Lumis. Everybody else, and Eric Rowan, I should say, makes sense there considering his history with Bray. But why are the other people there? Why is Joe Gacy invested in this when he was leading his own cult?
People were calling Joe Gacy Bray Wyatt light in NXT, but storyline wise, aside from just fans comparing their promo style and their oddness as characters, there's nothing. So yeah, that would
because Spooky
maybe Bray is his muse.
Spooky Nikki was running around at that same time, and it was like she was hiding in the shadows, and Dexter Lumis was sketching Johnny Gargano. And
that's true.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah, we had Gargano and the Poison Pixie in the hallway, and then he kind of flipped it around, and it's like there's Nikki peeking out behind the things. It's like, Nikki? Is that Nikki? And then she just cackles and runs away. And both of those people sort of disappeared shortly after that. We haven't seen Dexter and Nikki forever. Nikki was doing her master's degree. Dexter was probably murdering people and getting away with it. Gacy was called up, and then nothing happened. And Rowan was on the Independents. And then Bo was doing the Howdy stuff. And now he's here. We still don't know if it's Bo Dallas, right? He never said his name. So we don't really know what character he's coming in as. Is it himself? because I don't think anybody would bat an eye if he came in as Taylor Rotunda. I think that would add a layer to this. That would be super cool. But the WWE and their IP, it's probably going to be Taylor Wyatt, which I wouldn't be mad at. I think that could be really cool. I'm just excited about all of it, man. Like, incredible stuff. Can't wait to see what happens next. The WWE is on fire. It's the best. It is the best it has been since like early 2000s.
Facts.
Easily.
Yeah, facts. And we got
God.
So I love my final points. I love that, like me though, even though we disagree about who's going to get the briefcase, leaving Money in the Bank this Saturday, there is a clear focus on building the next generation of stars.
Yes.
Tiffany, you and I agree, has to be the move.
Yep.
And then whether it's Mello, whether it's Dragunov, you're putting the other briefcase on a new star. I love that. Quickly, Brad, for Heatwave this weekend, the match I'm most excited for is Lola Vice versus Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
Speaking of how deep the women's division is, I took some notes about this feud. So this is how I know I'm in my 30s and not my 20s anymore. In my notes, I wrote Lola and Rox are squabbling on X.
Yes.
They are. This feud, I know it kind of came up quickly within the last few weeks, but these two are so great. I think this match is going to be awesome. I definitely think Rox retains. I don't know that it's Lola's moment yet to become champ, but both are obviously immensely popular amongst the NXT fan base, and I believe both are going to translate really well to the main roster whenever it's their respective times to be called up. So Heatwave, also a really fun card in my mind, highlighted by this match. But I agree with you, man. WWE continues to be on fire. There's so many storylines to invest in. The folks on their roster are so talented. They're just going everywhere and selling out shows, and there just seems to be really, really good vibes everywhere. I don't know if Donovan Dijak would agree, but
good point.
But
now,
there seems to be positive vibes for fans tuning in.
The one thing I'll say about what the WWE did with Dijak is they didn't release him. They simply didn't renew his contract, and I think that's the best move possible.
That's better than years past, right?
100%. You sign them to a contract, and if they're like, yeah, we can move on from this, we think we hit the ceiling with you, simply don't renew it. There are so many options now, because he could go to TNA, he could go to AEW, he could work the independents. A lot of wrestlers seem to be doing the independent thing, maybe hoping to go back to the WWE, but there's just money out there to be had, and it's a wonderful time in wrestling. And I know there's a lot of tribalists out there that are like, oh, I hope AEW's in the mud, their numbers are low, and blah, blah, blah. Lots of people watch AEW after it's on. I don't even catch it live very often anymore, and I still watch it. It's a lot of fun, and it's completely different. The WWE is giving me everything that I need, but man, the wrestling's good on AEW TV shows.
Yeah, and that's been a shift for us. I remember you and I would make it a point to watch Dynamite live every week,
and I would make it a point to skip Raw every week because it was awful.
Yeah, but ultimately, we just want good wrestling. We want storylines worth investing. And I know we're going to get to AEW soon because there's a lot to be excited for. But yeah, man, it continues to be a great time to be a wrestling fan. And WWE on so many levels is just cooking right now. But like you, I want great things for Dijak. I listened to some of his interviews this week, namely with Fightful, and I went down the Retribution rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of watching the Thunderdome, and the first time Retribution appeared,
the weird ninjas with the chainsaws and stuff,
the under 6 feet ninjas who were had a chainsaw and they
cut the rope with a chainsaw for no reason.
Myself, oh yeah, I watched this crap back in 2020.
They broke the glass,
and
center,
and we were all wondering, is this going to lead to anything good? It did not. But fortunately, the very talented people who were tasked with making this work, I would argue have now each of them moved on to bigger and better things. Whether we're talking about Dio Madden, Mustafa Ali, Dijak, Mia Yin, Mi Chin, Mercedes Martinez was there for. Do you remember? She was there for a hot minute and said, "No, I'm not going to be a part of this group. I'm going to go back and do my thing."
Yep, she was there and she dipped. Mia was there. Yeah, it was all. Yeah. And then Mercedes and Athena both gone shortly after that. And then on to AEW /ROH. which I feel a way about. But it's looking back at it, it's like I'm glad it happened because they tried something. They tried to give us content that was fresh. They did the underground thing for a while, and now it works, but it didn't then. I think Shane doesn't get enough credit for making that thing work when it didn't quite work, but then it did.
Maybe future AEW employee Shane McMahon. I know you saw those rumors as well.
Yes, absolutely. I can't think of a reason not to do it. I think they could be like, since Dynamite, Nitro, the WCW vibes, I think it would be great if he did live via satellite.
He comes down the turtleneck.
Yeah, and Shane purchases ROH. I think that could be.
I've not heard that before. Wow.
I think that could be a ton of fun. It's a throwback. Okay. And then there's a McMahon invading the company. I think that could be a lot of fun as a storyline. Like, that would be a blast. And then Shane could be like, all right, fine. Tony Khan will be like, I'll fight you for the company, but I'm not going to fight. I'm going to have my. And then Kenny Omega comes out, and then it's Kenny versus Shane, and Shane jumps 50 feet off of a building onto a flaming table. Like, he's going to do some.
I didn't expect you to have so much material ready.
You've been
thinking about this.
No, I haven't. It's just like, I can see it.
Dome?
A lot of people don't like the older wrestlers in there. I know people feel a way about Jericho. I don't like this iteration of Jericho. And I think that's the point. And he's doing a very good job making us all want to throw garbage at him. And he's just leaned into it and made it work somehow. And I'm kind of here for it. Man, they made me care about Jeff Jarrett this week. We'll get into it later. But first, Tyler, I had a little vacation this week to celebrate my daughter's 7th birthday up at the Great Wolf Lodge in Scottsdale. It's time for Someday When You Have Kids. Play the music.
And now it's time for
I'm crazy.
Someday When You Have Kids.
You're crazy.
Oh, where to start? This was so much fun, Tyler. I had a blast. Now, the Great Wolf Lodge, if you have not been one of these, is not an awesome place to go as an adult. It is definitely for children, definitely for kids. They got their moments. Great cocktails at the bar. Had a lot of fun walking around, just running around with Freya, holding a drink in my hand while she played Magic Quest. It's this, you go and buy a magic wand, and it has like all these interactive stations all over the downstairs of the property. We're talking thousands of square feet. I don't know how many miles I put on walking playing this game with Freya, but like a lot. I did not work out the entire time I was there and somehow set exercise goals because of how often I was in the pool, how much I was walking up and down stairs, all of those things. It was so much fun. They have a wave pool. They have, 2 giant raft family style slides, 2 inner tube slides, and 1 slide where you get into this thing that it's a door, it opens up and then it shuts. And while you're inside it, you cross your legs and cross your hands like Wakanda forever. And then you hear this tiny little countdown go 3, 2, 1. And then the floor drops out from under you and just launches your ass at 1,000 miles an hour through this tube. And it's a blast. It's so much fun. The ride's over in like 7 seconds and you're going Mach 12 through this thing. And the worst ride there was the one that Freya went on with us. She was too scared to go on the other ones. I felt sick after it. I was dizzy. It's the big raft, but it just sort of spins. She didn't want to do anything. It's like, no, it's too fast, too scary. I'm like, this is the worst ride here. And it's the family one with the little red wristband that babies can go on. And we're in this thing. I'm just white knuckling it going like, please let me die. Feeling sick to my stomach while I'm spinning. And I go in the 100-mile-an-hour tube and I'm good. Now, someday when you have kids, you're going to sacrifice your body. You're going to sacrifice your well-being to see the joy on a child's face, your child's face. My toes are torn up. I spent $20 on Aqua Socks the second day, maybe the third day, because my big toes were just shredded. Little shreds of skin from the Pebble Tech in the bottom of the wave pool for gripping purposes. Obviously, it's there for safety, but having to push yourself around the lazy river, because nobody at a little kid's place treats a lazy river as lazy. It's just, let's go as fast as we can around this thing, bump into everybody. It's a nightmare. I hated it so much. But Freya was having a great time. She was having a blast. We went inside, outside. It doesn't show well on the camera right here, but I got blisters up here from sunburn from going outside, despite wearing sunscreen. I'm that kind of white guy. It was rough out there. It was rough under the waves, but holy crap, did I have a good time. Freya had a blast. That's all that matters. It was so much fun, Tyler. I can't wait for you to experience those moments someday when you have kids.
Someday remains my favorite segment for reasons just like the ones we heard. Aqua socks.
Yeah.
They have this trademarked.
Well, Aqua Socks was a brand name probably in the 90s. My
Was it
90s
really?
peeps. Yeah, my 90s peeps probably know what this is.
Aqua
But
socks. Were they
they're just water
turquoise?
shoes. Water shoes.
Oh, they're
They
just
were-
water. Oh,
I got the black ones. They're just
Okay.
they're shoes you wear in the water. That's all
Right.
they are.
That makes sense.
That's all they are. They
Not,
say
not like flippers. No, different.
yeah, they're like a neoprene mesh on the top with a black rubber sole. That's
They
all
protected your big toes, which was
Oh
the
my
whole
gosh. Yeah, I was
impetus.
well, the second night, Jess was like, "Do you have your toenail clippers?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "I gotta clip the dead skin off my toe." I was like, "Why?" She's like, "I'm bleeding over here."
Glad
She's
you
wearing
brought those
band-aids
clippers.
every day. Yeah, she's like bleeding, and then I was like, "Man, I didn't get all torn up like that." Fast forward one day, and I'm
You're
like,
right. You really do sacrifice for
"Yeah."
your child for free.
It is not the first time that has happened. It's just I forgot. Everybody got water shoes last time, and I didn't. And I was like, "Oh, next time I go to a resort like this, I got to get them." And I didn't remember I got them there. I probably overpaid, but they were only like $20. It's not like I paid. When we went to the Kierland up in Scottsdale, their what it was like I can't remember the name of it. It's like a Westin or something. It's whatever our La Paloma is here. It's the same deal up in Scottsdale,
Yeah,
but much
Westin.
nicer.
Weston
Much
sounds
nicer.
good.
Yeah. Much nicer, much cleaner. Great resort if you want to go there. But they had aqua shoes, water shoes in their little store in there, and they were $75. I'm not paying $75 for some little boots.
That sounds very Scottsdale.
Yep.
75 is wild.
Great Wolf Lodge. They got the Great
Wolf
Wolf Lodge
Lodge.
branding on the back of it.
Oh, okay.
$20.
Maybe a future
$19.99.
sponsor of GI.
I truly doubt it.
I'm glad you survived. I'm glad Freya had a great time. I saw some of the pictures and videos. I'm just so proud of you, man. You're such an amazing dad, and she's such a special
I always try.
7-year-old. I can't believe she's 7. Saying that aloud
It's crazy.
is surreal.
It's
I
crazy.
can only imagine how it feels for you and Jess, but alas, I'm glad the birthday celebration was fun.
Absolute blast. We did bring a friend along. Shout out to the Dozers for coming up. She had a blast. She wanted to party, but she said, like, do you want to have a party or do you want to go to the Great Wolf Lodge with Daxton? It's like, I just want to go with Daxton. I don't need a party. Let's just go to the Great Wolf Lodge. And
That's
they did.
friendship.
And we did.
That's so real.
Absolute blast for them. And the next 2 days were just us, and it was just as much fun. It was a ton of fun. I ate a lot of junk while I was up there, not a lot of healthy options, but I burned so many calories. It doesn't matter.
You
I
hit those
guarantee I
exercise
went up.
goals.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how
Forgot to
many
mention that.
how many Dunkin' coffees I had or the 2 pizzas we had while we were up there. There's no chance that I went over. No chance. But somebody's going over tonight. Lots of people are going over tonight at Forbidden Door. The pre-show is recording as we speak. We're missing it, Tyler. So we're going to wildly speculate. For this, we decided to go, who we got? We're just going to go kind of rapid fire through these, pick who we think are going to win these matches, and then we'll find out with you on Monday how wrong we were. So let's get into it.
Let's do it. Which match do you want to start with?
Let's start at the top. Let's go pre-show.
Okay. I am not looking at the same list you are, so I'm gonna pull that up.
Well, I'm not going to try to say that. It's Los Ingobernables de Japan.
I've heard of them.
So LIDJ. Okay, or the LIJ, I'm going to say, because holy hell, I can't. I'm so white. Versus the Lucha Brothers and Mystico.
And Mystico.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the latter.
I'm going to
Lucha
go with the
Brothers and
latter as well.
Mystico.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Our second pre-show match, which makes me a little sad that this is on the pre-show and not the main card, considering there's 5,000 matches on this card. It's Chris Statlander with Watanabe and Stokely Hathaway, of course. I love Stoke versus Willow Nightingale, are one of our favorites, and Tam Nakano. Tam Nakano is one of my favorite Joshi wrestlers. Really want to see this, and I'm gonna go Willow and Tam take this one. I think Chris and Watanabe are the ones that need to win and will probably win, but I just want to see Willow win because I love Willow.
Yeah, so I'm just clearly crushing this segment. I'm looking at the list and I already see the result.
Oh no.
Match. I can confirm for you. You're right. Willow won.
Okay, of course.
Willow and her partner. They won this match. Yes, they did.
Okay, our third match on the pre-show.
Willow and Tam got the dub.
I'm all flustered here. Mariah May versus Saraya.
Yeah, I mean, I have Mariah winning the Owen, so Mariah beats Saraya here.
They haven't done anything. No, I haven't done anything with
Really?
Saraya for a long time outside of the stuff, the backstage stuff with Harley, which has been fun. Incredibly suggestive, but fun.
Yeah, Harley's really good in the ring.
Harley is so fun. Like, great talent. So glad they're out of the QTV stuff, but it's I don't know. I have a harder time with this one, but I think I'm with you. It has to be Mariah May. I think that match is going to be. I think that match is overlooked, and I think it's going to actually be a lot of fun.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, our fourth match on the pre-show: House of Black versus Ishii, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, and Gabriel Kidd versus Private Party.
I have the result of this as well.
Son of a bitch.
Who do you think won?
House of Black.
Correct.
Okay.
Good decision, Tony Khan.
Yeah. I was like, if it wasn't House of Black, I'm rioting.
So sad.
Okay.
Malachi should be our TNT champ right now, but that's a conversation for another day.
I'm ready for him to be world champ.
Amen.
Okay. No shade to Swerve. Love Swerve. Want this run to continue, but also Malachi Black. That should have happened years ago. Okay. We're on the main card. Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe versus Jack Perry versus Dante Martin versus Leo Rush versus El Phantasmo. The ladder match for the vacant TNT title.
It's got to be the scapegoat.
It's got to be the scapegoat. It has
Jack
to be.
Perry. This is all just a vehicle for him to finally hold singles gold. All
that said, so stoked Leo Rush is on this.
Yes, he's back.
I think he needed to get away. I think AEW's in a different place than it was when he was there last. And I'm hoping they sign him to a contract again. Maybe this is a tryout for him to see how he does with the roster and with the locker room and all of those things. I'm still sad about Gresham leaving. I'm glad he's in TNA doing really cool things, but I'm upset that he felt that way at the time and then realizes I probably shouldn't have popped off like that and then left. But hopefully he can come back at some point. I don't know that WWE will have interest in him, unfortunately, just because of his size, but I think he'd be a great fit. He is a great fit in TNA, and I think it would be a great fit in AEW still. And
he's quickly become one of my favorite wrestlers.
Oh, he's so good.
He's fantastic.
But Leo Rush, man, Leo Rush is just a blast to watch in the ring. He's so quick and just like, I don't even know like how to describe his fighting style. It's
a blur.
It's primal. He's on all fours. It's so good.
Yeah. He's
so
unique. He's unique in this match. I mean, Dante Martin's in this match as well. Takesha's in this match. You gave us the full list of participants.
The moment.
I think it's really going to over deliver. I think for a lot of
too.
folks, this match is not even in their top 3 or top 4 in terms of what they're most excited about. I think this is really going to over deliver. And even though the outcome likely predictable, there's just so many talented dudes in this one. It's going to be great.
I think the dark horse in this match, the one that's going to surprise people, is El Phantasmo, just because we know Briscoe's going to do something nuts. He's going to die on a ladder or kill someone on a ladder. Takeshita at some point is either going to running knee or forearm somebody into Hades. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, the scapegoat, is going to do something. I don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be gnarly. And then he's going to look at the crowd and blame them or something. Dante is going to jump off something high. And Leo is going to hit dudes with a rapid succession of shots, and I can't wait to see it. This is going to be so much fun. What an incredible balance of people in that match. Yeah. Different styles, different sizes. God, it's going to be fun.
Different ethnicities.
Like, oh my God. It's super diverse.
Slept
all
on.
of it. I think this might steal the show in terms of entertainment. With just watching the match, I'm super hopeful for this.
Yeah, and Takeshita being the Haas in this field, like he could probably lift all of these dudes up. Still, if challenged.
I'm going back to when they had him on here when he was with Noah, I think, or no, he's with DDT. Takeshita's my guy. He's still like, what a pickup. I was hoping he would get signed. It was like, this is a no-brainer. Look at this guy. And now he's one of their top guys, in my opinion. And I just so happy to see his growth in the company and the spot he's put in. And the day that he released German suplexes Don Callis onto his super stiff neck is going to be amazing.
First Paul Heyman, now
yes.
Don Callis. But instead of booing and feeling sad, we will praise Takeshi's decision.
It's going to be amazing. We have then the learning tree with Chris Jericho and Big Bill, with Jeff Cobb. I find it weird that Brian Keith isn't in this. He's either injured or they just needed to make room for a New Japan guy to be on that spot because it's Forbidden Door. And then Shibata is obviously not a New Japan guy, but his whole legacy is New Japan. So, or at least Japanese wrestling. So it makes sense that Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata are on a team. And then the learning tree has Brian Keith in there. I think the clear winners in this are Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. And that's why I think the learning tree is going to win.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the learning tree has to win this one.
Yeah.
When you're establishing these heel factions, they got to pick up dubs. They just have to. If they lose right out the gate, why should we take them seriously? It's got to be learning tree for this one.
And I think that's okay. And I also can see this setting it up for Blood and Guts at some point. Okay. Timeless Tony Storm with Luther versus Mina Shirakawa. This is going to be incredible. They're not going to put the championship belt on Shirakawa.
No, they're not. We want Mina. # we want Mina. But this match is going to be fun. I've really enjoyed the build. It's obviously it's
been fun. Yeah,
it feels like it's
Storm's
more.
Gimmick is the best gimmick in wrestling right now.
100%.
As an individual, my God, it's 100%. So good.
It's still great. It really, to me, feels like it's more so we're fighting for custody of Mariah May.
Yes.
Number one.
Yeah.
And then number two, we're fighting for the women's championship. I think with this particular storyline, it actually works quite well. I'm not offended by it by any means. Yeah, I agree with you. Mina's been great. She's also been a new discovery for me. Really, really enjoy her. Timeless Tony's got to retain because ultimately, in my mind, this is setting up Mariah versus Tony.
100%.
Mariah being the one to dethrone Tony, very likely in London at All In.
Man, the pop there.
It's going to be great. Mariah's been an awesome free agent pickup. It seems like she was one of those free agents where they had a plan for her from day one. We're going to align you with Tony. Oh, that's kind of interesting. You're playing second fiddle to Tony. Let's see how this goes. All these months later, hopefully, we're going to get the payoff. Great free agent signing. Great work by Mariah since she's been here. This match should be a blast.
And they're both Japanese wrestler veterans. They both wrestled in Japan,
right?
And they both work that same kind of strong style. They're gonna hoss the shit out of each other. I can't wait for this match. The whole storyline has been just unbelievably horny for AEW, but it's been a ton of fun. It's so much. But the story they're telling now, especially after last week, I can't wait for this. The cheap shot that got missed to smack Mariah. I think that there's going to be an intervention at the end, and I think Mariah May is going to start turning on Tony for this after winning the match on the pre-show. Let's go.
Is Mariah still the babyface?
I think Mariah ends up being the babyface.
Okay.
Out of this, when Tony tries to break Mina's arm or something at the end, if she puts her in a submission and just doesn't let go,
that makes sense.
And Mariah gets in the way, and then they start beefing and start that feud up. I think it'll be amazing. Mariah finding herself, getting rid of the old Tony gimmick. I think it'd be really cool.
The Rockstar Tony. Yeah,
man. Okay. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. Been looking forward to this. The rematch. Can't wait to see this. This is going to be a ton of fun. I think I think the best technical wrestler in the world wins this one.
This is one of those.
The storyline is way too much against Orange Cassidy.
Right.
My guess is that Trent comes out and costs him the match. Doesn't interfere, but maybe just comes out, distracts him, and then that's that.
I would love a ZSJ win. I believe he's winless on Forbidden Door. He lost to Danielson last year.
Yep.
And the year before, I forget who he faced, but I'm almost positive.
It was Orange, wasn't it?
I think this is a first ever matchup between the two.
No, they wrestled before.
Did they really? On the first show?
I don't remember what show it was on, but it sounds
But
right.
we agree ZSJ winless at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Which leads me to want to pick him. But I don't know, Brad. At the last pay-per-view, I thought Trent was going to beat Orange, and that didn't happen. Orange is one of the faces of AEW. He's one of my favorite performers on the roster. I'm going to go freshly squeezed here. I'm picking Orange Cassidy to beat ZSJ.
I don't know, man. Orange did a lot of winning last year. We'll see what happens. I really thought they wrestled. Maybe they did like a tag thing, and
they probably
that's
did.
probably what it was.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing on commentary this week on Dynamite that this is going to be a first ever matchup.
But I thought Orange pinned him or something. So I can't remember.
Yeah, because a lot of people.
Because he said he got lucky. In that little confrontation this week, he was talking about how it's not going to be like that. You got lucky. You can't do it twice. That kind of stuff. So I can't remember. Shout out if
you're persuasive, but I'm still going OC.
Okay. If you guys know what I'm talking about, or if I'm just dead wrong, shoot me a message. Jon Moxley versus Naito. Who you got?
Someone who wins a lot as well, Jon Moxley. I'm not going to pick him, though. I think this is where he drops the title. New Japan has to pick up some wins on this card.
Agreed.
I'm going to go Naito.
I am too. Same reason. It's got to be a New Japan thing.
And Moxley, we've seen this time and time again when he does lose, although few and far between, it never hurts him. Like he pops back up the next week, he cuts a great promo, beats up some dudes, and then we're right back to Mox being Mox.
I forgot about MJF. I missed it when I was looking at this. MJF Hechicero. I can't. Is that how you say his name? I can't
Yeah.
You
got it.
That dude's a monster. And after
he's awesome,
breaking a local talent's arm off yesterday, in preparation for this match, I can't wait to see this. I think this match is underrated. I think MJF as a wrestler is perpetually underrated.
He really is,
because his character is so big,
right? That
people forget that he had an Iron Man match against the best in the world, maybe ever to do it.
Revolution.
And stood up to it. Watching him just constantly go get water bottles was so fun in that match. But then when that was the match he splashed like vodka on a kid though. So,
right. Max.
I think it has to be MJF, unless there's outside interference.
Yeah, I have no doubt about this one. It's got to be MJF winning. And whenever MJF loses, I won't forecast too far in the future, but I don't think we're going to see an MJF loss for a long, long time. It's in Long Island, the most magical place on earth, according to Mr. Friedman. He's got to pick up the win here. I think he beats Hechicero.
Okay, we got the Elite versus the Scissor Ace.
How are you feeling about this? I'm trying to read your body language here. You're not feeling this one.
I am so uninterested in this entire thing. I don't care about this match at all. I want good things for Anthony Bowens.
I do too.
The Elite with Okada. Stop it. The end. Stop it. Just stop it. Yes. I love Tanahashi, but like Tanahashi moves like he's like a Lego skeleton these days. And he still does some really cool stuff and he's still brilliant in the ring, but it's not like he's young. So like just on that alone, they're definitely behind. And then you have Bowens and Caster, who have they won lately? I mean, they won recently.
Yeah, the Eliminator.
The Eliminator, right. I think that was the first thing they've done of any kind of significance in a while. because they get cut off. They
drop them in trios.
It's just, yeah, it's really ran low. Casters raps have been either bad or problematic or whatever. It's just non-existent. They've been getting cut off a lot lately, probably for reasons. And I don't know. I just haven't been feeling their run at all. Like they lost all of that momentum they had. And I wish I cared more about this because this should be a lot of fun, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind this being like the third on the card and get it over with and out of the way.
Wow.
Or somewhere in between matches that are going to be really exhausting, like do the ladder match and then put this one on.
Right.
Because, it's going to be fun. You have three of the best in the world and then the other three.
Right.
Who are great.
Yeah, they are.
But are you feeling the story?
No, I'm not. I don't foresee the Acclaimed dethroning the Young Bucks, and Okada's actually probably been the best part of all this.
100%. 100%.
He's an awesome heel, super funny the way they've been using him. Yeah, in terms of my investment, it's certainly not very high on this match. Looking at all of the card in full, I'm actually really excited about the next one we're going to talk about. I'm kind of distracting myself, thinking about what I want to say. I'm going to go with the Elite to take the dub here. I'm not very invested in this as of when we're recording this right before the show, but the Elite pick up the win. Eventually, we're going to get Acclaim versus Bucks. I don't think the Acclaim win that. But for now, the Elite have to be victorious. Jack Perry's going to be victorious. Those guys are going to be riding high next week.
I think eventually we're getting the Elite versus Bullet Club Gold, which will be a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's the one that I want to see. Yeah. Listen, man, I wouldn't be mad at this match if it were on Rampage or Collision main eventing, but it's a 14 card match. That's why I don't care about this. It's like, I'm just going to be tired.
Right.
Like this match could be 7-8 minutes and I'll be fine. It just sucks because I like all the talent involved. I just don't care about the story whatsoever. And it doesn't feel very believable to me. Mercedes Moné. Okay. Listen.
This was the one that was distracting me. Let's talk.
Go ahead. I'm going to let you talk.
Oh my good. The handoff. Just like that. I'm so excited. I'm already predicting the headline. One of the headlines leaving the show is going to be, hear me out, Mercedes Moné, worth every penny. This match is going to remind us how special she is. I'm not as familiar with Stephanie Vaquer's work as I should be and as I want to be, but I hear she's fantastic. I can't wait for this. They're fighting for who's the best. They're fighting for all the gold. I'm picking Mercedes to win. I'm so excited to see how this plays out.
I think this is a way for Stephanie to end up getting a big contract as soon as hers is up. I really do. I think this is like a global tryout for her to let people that aren't familiar with her work to know who she is. I doubt this is accidental. This is probably Mercedes really pitching hard for this. They're going to beat the shit out of each other. When she showed up, like the craziness of all of this is like New Japan plus CMLL plus AEW now. And Stephanie wrestling in Mexico at I think at a CMLL event for New Japan and meeting up with Mercedes Moné from AEW.
Yeah. Strong Championship, TBS Championship. There's a lot of we haven't really talked about that. It is a new part of Forbidden Door. It's not just NJPW anymore. It's CMLL. It's really cool.
It's amazing because you get to see all these talent that you normally wouldn't see. The partnerships are helping everybody. I don't know that it's necessarily translating to ratings when you have randos on your main product, and that's really hard for audiences. But for somebody who's a fan of these kinds of matchups, I don't really care about that. I just want to see fun matchups. And I think these pay-per-views are why, right? Like this is the exciting part. And anyway, we're going long here, so I'll try to wrap it up. Danielson Takagi, who you got?
Danielson.
Okay, Swerve and Will Ospreay. This is a tougher one for me.
Wow. We spoke about this one last week, obviously, as many probably remember. This is not tough for me. Swerve wins. I'm just trying to figure out how he's going to win. Is it clean? Is there interference by someone? If so, who is that person? Probably not Daniel Garcia because it looks like we're leaning into him being a babyface. MJF and Will Ospreay. Maybe that's the match in London. I'm going Swerve. And I think there are going to be shenanigans. I don't foresee Swerve winning cleanly. I don't know if it's Nana interference. That doesn't feel like the move.
I don't think it's going to be a heel Swerve move.
Okay. I'm all ears. I got Swerve winning. Who you got? Is your boy leaving with 2 belts? Speaking of,
I would love that. I don't think that's happening. I think Swerve retains. I don't think Nana costs him. I think the Don Callis family costs Will Ospreay, probably on purpose, which leads to a rift between the Callis family, Will, and Kyle Fletcher. And then we have a united empire in AEW, a proper united empire, not just the tag team. I think that's the way that this goes.
A returning Mark Davis. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's how I foresee that. And then you have that building off to All In, and I think that'll be incredible.
And I know there's been some criticism about the build to this match, or the fact that this match is even happening so soon. I believe some of it is justified. However, Brad, we are just, again, we're recording before the show. We are mere hours away from seeing these two lock up. What a time.
My hands are sweaty.
Wrestling is the coolest. I can't wait for this. I agree with you. Swerve leaves Long Island, still champ.
Yeah, the only thing I could see that would muddy this up is because we got the tease. We got the vignette. Is the one man that could cost him the championship.
Wow.
Right?
And their match at All In would not need a title at all.
However, I can see Hangman coming back, popping Will Ospreay and saying, "No, I had you. I want this match."
Ooh.
Costing Will.
Yeah, I want to be the guy to beat Swerve. I need
redemption and validation.
One of my headlines leaving the show as well, my final one, is who is the better opponent for champion Swerve in London? Bryan Danielson, one last run last year as a full-time competitor, or Hangman Page? That's going to be the finals of the Owen, is it not? Revisiting that matchup.
It has to be, right?
Who's the better opponent for Swerve in London?
God, I don't know.
The GOAT or the unstoppable villainous cowboy?
Triple threat?
That's a good answer. This is why you're my man. That's a great answer.
God, that would be fun.
That's a great answer.
Oh my God.
Put it on the poster. How do we move remaining tickets? We make that our main event. And then, by the way, also on that card, I don't know, let's say Mercedes versus Britt, MJF versus Ospreay.
Not cleared yet to come back, Britt, but soon, according to Tony Khan.
Soon. Maybe as soon as tonight we see her back. Just saying.
We don't even know. Adam Cole could show up. We have no idea. No idea. Keith Lee could show up. Miro could show up. I doubt both of those things, but
I sure hope so.
God, I hope so. Right? Like, oh man, Tyler, what did we miss?
I don't think we missed a lot, man. We had a great conversation. I feel like we really covered everything that's going on in both companies right now, at least that needed to be addressed today. However, what did we miss? I want to quickly pivot to the world of hoops. On the men's side of things, obviously there was the NBA draft. Mm-hmm. Your Detroit Pistons picked. My Phoenix Suns picked. I'm not really moved by anything that went on. I do think it's super cool that Bronny James is a Laker, although the Lakers are, of course, our enemies as Suns fans. I think that's really awesome. Obviously, LeBron is my GOAT. Love that he's going to get to play with his kid. But I quickly want to talk about the amazing game that just occurred before we recorded. The Indiana Fever, they shocked our Phoenix Mercury, Brad. They came into the Footprint Center and picked up the win. Caitlin Clark was great. She's like Cody Rhodes, man. She has thousands of fans wherever she goes. Aaliyah Boston had a great game. Kelsey Mitchell is a bucket getter consistently. The game was really fun, and I really just love how much energy and eyeballs are on the product. You and I continue to talk about the W, and we will continue to do so in future episodes. There's so much excitement around the game right now. You have someone who is near and dear to us, Erica Day for PHNX Mercury, doing her thing. I just love that the W is finally getting the shine that it's so richly deserved for years and years.
Agreed.
And today, Clark's first game in Phoenix. She tore it up, and we were just able to watch a really fun basketball game. So I love that for us, and I love that for the whole fan base of the W.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, man. Like this came in with a lot of hype. That game came in with a lot of hype, and the social media accounts for both teams, I think, were leaning into it, like show up, show out, and they did. That was a packed house. That was pretty great. Do basketball players thank other players for the house? I'm not sure how that works. The Pistons also, they did draft somebody. They drafted a very bad shooter. So Cade is now surrounded by terrible shooters, and hopefully they're new, and whether or not they can even sign him to an extension, we'll see. They're making cap space. They got a new GM, Tyler. I'm hopeful, and they got a new head coach. JB Bickerstaff has been hired. Huge get, I think, after the last 2 years with the Cavs. I'm super hopeful that they can turn this thing around. New shooting coach, like it's looking good, and that's how I felt at the beginning of last season. So we'll see. This is it's scary to me. The other things we missed, I brought up Sika already. Taz and Jordan Grace having a bit of a back and forth online, but it wasn't really a back and forth between Taz and Jordan Grace as it was between Jordan Grace and fans of Taz saying, way to steal someone's gimmick. Where wrestlers pay homage to these people all the time. And Taz saying, like, yeah, I wasn't tagged. So I don't know. I just saw people saying that she was taking the gimmick. I'm really protective of my things, but I love Jordan Grace. And it didn't sound like he was upset at all. He was just saying, like, this is how I feel about my gimmick. That was kind of it. I think people that look at it now don't have the perspective of somebody that had to wrestle in ECW to build a name and a brand for themselves, not having a company behind them to build that thing and just having to get it over by yourself. I can't even imagine what kind of pressure that is, because that's basically you going, how do I afford to feed my family? How does Little Hook get food in his mouth if I don't make this thing work? So huge appreciation for that. And it seems like they're good. And fans being toxic in the IWC, not a surprise there, Tyler.
No, not at all. I love that you mentioned that, because Taz reminded us on Dynamite. He said something when Zack Sabre Jr. had the orange and black.
Oh,
Taz,
yeah.
do you remember that? He said,
yeah.
I just find it to be so funny. He said
So
something.
funny.
He just alluded to, like, remember, I'm the guy who popularized orange and black.
That's right.
Respect to Zach, but don't
Yeah.
forget who
That's
made
right.
this work, who was
That's right.
first. Yeah, man, we're trying to avoid toxic conversations always, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Please get at us. You can find Brad at Winduster. I'm at Tyler J. McDowell. You can find us and our work at GIPod19. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have lots of great graps ahead this week, this weekend. It's going to be amazing, and next week we will be talking about all of it. We'll see you then. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.